What are the top states to retire in? Well, the Motley Fool came out with a study. You're going to be surprised.
Lightning strikes and then you're gonna know my name.
Hey, look, when you are getting ready to retire, you may be thinking about relocating to another state. Perhaps the state you currently live in may not be as affordable in retirement. And other reasons people may choose to relocate to another state may be things like healthcare quality, weather, taxes, and housing costs. So what may be important to you may not be as important to others. Hey, by the way, if this is your first time here, my name is Keith Wilson, and I am a financial advisor helping folks just like you live out their retirement years on their terms. So, what factors should you consider when thinking about where to retire? Well, the Motley Fool conducted a survey of 1,500 people age 55 and over, and what they did is they asked them what was important to them when choosing where they want to retire. And then they ranked those findings that they had by the best combinations by each state. So according to this survey, quality of life ranked #1 factor in considering where to retire. Now, what they defined quality of life was the availability of retail and dining opportunities, outdoor activities, cultural activities, spiritual community, organized activity for retirees, and civic organizations. And rounding out the top 7 factors that are most important to Americans in considering where to retire are low housing costs, high healthcare quality, reasonable healthcare costs, low crime rate, good public health, and low taxes. Now, I must say, I was surprised by this survey because I would have thought that cost of living and weather would have been in the top 5. But again, the Motley Fool surveyed 1,500 people aged 55 and older to what they really want. Here is the full list of factors that Americans consider important when deciding which state to retire in. And the methodology of ranking the top states to retire in was, what they did is Motley Fool took data and weighted it based on the importance from the survey. And the weighting was assigned as follows. First of all, quality of life, 15.2%. Housing cost, 14.9%. Healthcare, 14.8%. Crime, 14.8%. Taxes, 13.7%. Cost of living, 13.6%. And weather, 13.1%. Now, the Motley Fool then used that data to create a final weighted score between 0 and 100 for each state to determine the best states to retire. And what I'll do is I'll leave a link to that full article for you in the description below. And now let's reveal, according to the survey, the top 5 states to retire in. Hey, but before we do, consider subscribing to the channel and giving this video a thumbs up. It really helps me to get this information out there, and I would really appreciate it. All right, so the best state to retire in, according to the Motley Fool study, is New Hampshire. Are you surprised by that? I gotta tell you, I was, but because New Hampshire had a near perfect health score and second in crime score and top 50 in quality of life and taxes, it was able to, overcome expensive housing, cost of living, and weather. Okay, coming in at number 2 is Utah. Again, I'm surprised. Nothing against Utah. I just wouldn't think of that state as being number 2. But it ranked number 1 in healthcare score in the country and ranked in the top half for quality of life and crime rate. But it does have among the highest house prices in the country and a relatively high tax burden. All right, at number 3 is Minnesota. Minnesota ranked 4th in healthcare score, 13th in crime rate, and 15th in the quality of life. But it also ranked 47th in weather. Now at number 4, Connecticut. Now Connecticut is a pretty expensive state to retire to, but because of ranking 7th in quality of life, 6th in healthcare, and 4th in low crime rate, it was enough to get to number 4. And coming at number 5 was Colorado. Maybe it's because of its landscape and, outdoor activities. It ranked in the top 10 for the quality of life. 3rd best for healthcare. But, come on, it's quite cold there, and it has the 4th most expensive housing market. Now, these next 5 states round out the top 10, and they are Vermont, Maryland, Nebraska, North Dakota, and Wisconsin. So I got to say again, after reading this article and the rankings, I was a bit surprised, but keep in mind, the Motley Fool surveyed 1,500 people 55 and over on what they thought was the most important factor when considering where to retire. So your reasons may be different. For example, your number 1 consideration could be simply that, hey, you want to move close to your kids and your grandchildren. And that may be more important than housing costs to you. This study is helpful, as you can see by the full list of rankings by state in each of those categories. And you will see there will be trade-offs within each state. Alaska, for example, rated number 1 in low taxes, but got a 0 score for weather and crime. So perhaps you can use this data to give you more insight to the state that best suits what's most important to you. Now, the worst states to retire in, now that's according to this study, were Louisiana, Kansas, West Virginia, Arkansas, and Mississippi. Don't blame the messenger here. That's according to the Motley Fool study. And again, that was based on what Americans considered important to them. So another thing to consider is this study is looking at overall states, not cities, within the state. Because there are a pocket of communities within even the bottom-ranked states that are appealing to, some retirees, like the Ozarks in Arkansas. So all in all, choosing where to retire is a personal decision, and what factors are most important to you and your situation. And on top of that, you may need a retirement checkup to help you pursue your goals. So why not click the link below to schedule some time with me personally? I'd really appreciate that. And hey, I hope you have found this information valuable. If so, consider subscribing to the channel, and we'll see you next time.
If I don't know any